Hello, class. Welcome back. Hopefully, everyone is safe and healthy, and your families are safe and healthy as well. We're going to continue on with this pattern that I started last week, where we're doing some long distance learning opportunities. Where I called it Part 1, Week 1 last week. Well, we're already in Week 2 now. If you did notice on the website, I did post more videos throughout the week. I just didn't send them out by Google Classroom. I didn't feel like you needed more, interruptions in your email. But if you want to go back and look at the website and kind of check out some other videos, I did submit, I think, some links and some videos on Tuesday last week. And then I also submitted some links and videos on Thursday where it went through the answers on the Google form that I sent out. Now, if you didn't get a Google form, maybe you didn't have access to the internet, there were some copies in the office that you could have picked up. But again, this is Part 1 of Week 2 now. I'm going to continue with the same format where we're going to do a video and then I'll submit out a Google form or put some worksheets in the office if you want to go pick some up. Again, these are just opportunities. They're not obligations. They're not graded. Just for you to practice and continue your education, just a different format. The topic this week is going to be mortgages and down payments. So that's what we're going to be looking at. Now, mortgages are based on compound interest. So again, we're just reviewing stuff we've already previously learned. But mortgages are based on a compound interest formula. I'm going to put that formula on the board here, or on the little marker board in front of you. So here's what we have. So let's kind of walk through what these letters stand for. A is the amount that you're totally paying for this, loan that you're going to take out. That's the total over, so many years of that loan. Maybe it's a student loan, it's a mortgage, it could be a credit card. This is the same formula they used. P is the principal that you're borrowing. So this is the amount that you're borrowing for that loan. Maybe it's your total student loan in the end. Maybe it's the mortgage for the house. Maybe it's the credit card that, the purchase that you made on it. R, this is an R, sorry, that is an R. That is the interest rate that, your card or the bank is giving you on your actual loan. I think most, mortgages are around 3-4%. If you have bad credit, it can go up. I know, it depends on the year even. I know the interest rates right now are incredibly low, during these weird and kind of strange times where the interest rates are almost near zero right now. So it's kind of a good time to actually purchase something like that, even though some people are unfortunately out of jobs. But again, interest rates are something that you need to pay attention to, because the higher the interest rate, the more you're going to pay. It's like an extra charge. N, in these cases, there's a couple N's. The N is the number of compounds. Its compound is an extra charge they charge you for not paying off the entire loan off. Now, usually in compounds, it's like once a month. So it'd be like this number for N would be 12. So it's 12 times a year they would charge you. And then T is time, and this would be your total time that you kept the loan. Maybe, on a mortgage it'd be 30 years or 25 years or 20 years or 15, whatever that you set it for. It could be 40 in certain states. But again, the longer the time you stretch it out, the more you're going to pay in the long run. So you want to keep that time frame lower. Lower is better. That does mean that you'd have to pay more per month, but you'd pay, in the long run, you'd pay significantly less money for that, that same loan. But let's jump right in. This is going to be the formula. So if you need to kind of rewind back to this part, maybe this is something you want to look at before I, send out that Google form or the worksheet in the office, if you will. Maybe this is something you want to look at. But yeah, this is the formula that I'm going to use pretty much for every problem. There's going to be a couple different tweaks and things that we're going to do here, but this is the main chunk that we're going to use for finding mortgages and total payments. But again, if you look at the topics, obviously compound interest loan, which is the loan, the formula I just showed you, we're going to calculate down payments. So it's just something that's very similar to like discounts and taxes like we did last week. We'll talk about interest paid that you paid, extra money that you paid on top of just the mortgage itself. Because obviously you're taking a loan out for, a house. That's what a mortgage is called. But you're going to pay a lot extra, and that's what the interest is paid. Total paid is where you add the interest and your total amount. That's the amount that you're paying in the long run. And then monthly payments is what you pay per month for how many years you're taking that loan out. Most people take out a loan for a mortgage for about 30 years. That's pretty average around the state of Iowa. And then your formula, obviously, is the one we're going to keep using over and over and over. Okay, let's jump right in. I got about 4 problems picked out here. The Google form, I think I have maybe 6 on there. I think there's about 6 problems. I'll have to go back and look. But anyway, let's jump right in the first one here. Just like your Google form, the first one's going to be calculating the down payment for this home. The state or the bank that you're working with might require a certain down payment. because they don't want you to take out a full loan of $75,000. They're trying to save you money. That is the purpose of doing that. Unfortunately, some people don't have that down payment. It is kind of a big number, but that's something that you might want to start saving for, especially when you just graduate high school. But again, let's calculate the down payment here. They kind of required this particular example required that I make a 10% down payment. So 10% is 0.10. I'm going to take that number times the 75,000. And that'll be my down payment for this particular home. So this will be the first payment I have to make before I take out a loan. So it's like a good faith kind of payment to significantly bring down the cost of this home for me. So 10% or 0.10 times this, again, if you take it times 0.1, it just moves the decimal over. So it should be $7,500. That's what this gives you when you actually multiply 0.1 times 75,000. That's the payment I have to make. That isn't the total I'm going to pay in the long run. That is just the first payment I have to make before the bank will even give me the loan. So now that means the rest of my mortgage that I'm taking out, so the down payment I'm making is $7,500. The mortgage I'm going to actually have to take a loan out for is everything that's left. So the money that's left to pay on this home is I take the $75,000 that the home was costing me, and I subtract off the $7,500. And so it looks like the rest of the mortgage, the loan that I'm going to have to take out is $67,500. That'll be the mortgage I have to take out. And I'll have to run that number through the formula and figure out how many years I'm going to go and what the interest rates are and what the compounds are. But that's how you do it. That's a down payment. It's pretty standard. Some people don't. Some people unfortunately don't have that type of money. That is a very large number. So that's something you probably need to start saving for. It's just a good thing to do that. It does save you a lot of money in the long run, and we'll see that later on. But that's the first problem. So there's two parts of that one. The first question on that Google form will ask you to calculate the down payment. That'll be the first number. And then the second question will ask you to find what the mortgage is that's left. And that's then $67,000. Sorry. All right, let's jump to problem number 2. All right, so this one. Now they're giving me a number of years I'm going to take out my loan. And what my mortgage is. I don't have to calculate any down payment on this one, so they've already taken out the down payment here. It looks like the mortgage that I have left to pay is $80,000 in this particular home. I have an interest rate of 9%. That's not very good. That's actually terrible. That's the extra charge they're going to put on me. And they want to know, how much I'm paying in the long run and what the interest that I paid, like the extra money. So that'll be everything on top of the $80,000 that I paid. So we're going to kind of do these one at a time. And so this would be like the next two questions on the Google form. But I'm going to use the same formula that we did earlier. So I'm going to switch up the color here. All right, so the formula that we used was this one. So if you go back to that first part of that video, here's the formula that I had. All right, I'm going to plug these numbers in. So the $80,000 is the principal. That's the balance I'm going to borrow from the bank. 9% is 0.90. You always have to move the decimal over 2 spots. I did that with the 10% earlier. We did that last week. Number of compounds, we're doing 12. We're doing it once a month. And then the time we're going for is 30 years. They tell me that in the directions. I'm going for 30-year loan. That's like a long time. So again, if I could significantly chunk down that 30 years, maybe go to 20-year loan, I would save a lot of money in the long run, what I'll pay. In fact, I'll show you that here in a second. But on this problem, these are the numbers I'm going to have. So I'm going to take the 0.09 first and divide by 12. I need to figure out what that number is. I better get rid of that extra mark here. I don't want to confuse you. All right, so let's divide 0.09 by 12 first. 0.09 divided by 12. So on a calculator, it's giving me 0.0075. That's the number that it's giving me. All right. And again, I'm not typing this all in at one time. And a lot of people like to just type this all in a calculator and just hit enter. It won't give you the right answer sometimes, especially how you type it in. Now I'm going to add that number to the number 1. So I'm finishing off this parentheses. So here we go. All right. Now, the next step, I have to take the 12 times 30 in the power. 12 times 30 is 360. You do have to do that before you start. Don't just type it all in at once because you'll get that wrong. And then I have to figure out this part. So how you type this part in a calculator, because I do have to do exponents first. Again, the order that I'm going through is this. This is like the little order of operations they teach you in like elementary days. You have to do parentheses first, which I did finish. Now I have to do the exponent, so 0.10075 to the 360th power. So I have you type that in a calculator. I'm using a little arrow key, little up arrow key. I think it's above like the 6 key on your keyboard. So if you're in Google, you can actually type that in. but it's sometimes they have a little X to the Y key on some calculators, but you have to type that in to enter something in the power. So I'd enter the 1.0075 first, hit one of these two keys, and then type in my power. And that number, what it's going to spit out, if I take 1.0075 to the 360th power, it's going to be 14.73057. And this number just keeps going. And I'm going to take that times the 80,000. Because again, why I'm doing this, I did parentheses first, I did exponents, now I'm going to multiply in last. So I'm going to multiply that 14 number times 80,000. And what this is going to give me, it's giving me my total that I'm going to pay over 30 years for this home. I'm going to pay 117,8446.09. That is a real number. You are going to pay roughly $1 million for this home over 30 years because of that 9% interest. That is absolutely ballistic. That is excessive. It's one of those things like it was the number of years you took out your loan, it was too high. The number of years, 30 years, and plus you went 9% interest. That is a dumb loan to take out. So that is the amount of money you're going to pay for this house in the long run. No joke. That is a real number my calculator is spitting out here. All right, so now to figure out, the number that we just found, this 1 million number, that number is the amount paid for that home over 30 years. That is a real number. Now, what we have to figure out is what the total interest you paid, the extra money the bank took because you didn't want to save money, you didn't want to put a down payment on the home, you went for 30 years, you had a really bad interest rate, maybe you had really bad credit for your bank. So the extra money is you take your $1,178,446.09 and you have to subtract what the mortgage was on the home. The mortgage on the home was $80,000. So if I take that 1 million number and I subtract 80,000 off of it, that is the interest you're paying. That is the extra fee the bank charged you because you weren't willing to save money or maybe go after a lower priced home or get better credit before you took out this loan. And you're paying this number extra to the bank. This is how banks make money. That's when you don't wait. You paid an extra $1 million on that home because you weren't willing to wait and save up money. You paid a lot of money for that home. It is an excessive amount. That is a real number. That is a real formula. This is something that you need to take seriously because obviously no one should be paying $1 million for an $80,000 home. But that is a real number. So, again, if just this interest rate would have changed, you would have saved significant numbers. But that was just a really, really nasty number. That 0.09 was just that was super painful. All right, let's jump right to the next one. So, second to last question here. There's two parts of this one. You have to figure out the total amount that you're repaying for the mortgage, but it requires that you have to plug in the numbers in. So we're not going to figure out interest. We're just figuring out the total amount. So it's kind of just jumps right in. So again, the formula that I'm using is this. Still the same formula. So my principal, the mortgage that I'm borrowing is $45,000. So we've saved some money. We are buying a smaller or a lower priced home. Maybe you did a big down payment on it. But the problem that's going to kill us is a stupid 11% interest. No one should be paying 11% interest on a home. Now we're going 12 months a year, and I can't enter 12 in the power. What is the deal with this? There we go. 12 in the power, and we're going to take that times 20. Let's take that number times 20. Again, the NT is in the power. N is always going to be 12 for us. So if I take 0.11 divided by 12, I'm getting 1.0091666. There's a bunch of numbers there. I did this number first, which is this, and I added it to the 1 already. Sorry, kind of jumped into it there. Now in the 12 times 20, that should be 2,400, or sorry, 240, I should say. Well, it's 12 times 20. It's 240. All right, so now I'm going to take this number, the 1.0091666. I'm going to put it to the 240th power. 0.0091666. Put it to the 240th power. That is 8.935. And we're going to take that number times 45,000. And so the amount we're paying for this home, this $45,000 home, mind you, that's what I want you to think about. this $45,000 home. We're not going to be paying $45,000. What we're paying is $45,000 times the 8.935. We're paying $402,075. That's a $400,000 home over 20 years. 20 years. If that would have been 30 years, it would have been way bigger. In fact, I'm going to just do that in my calculator just so you can see this. So I'm going to the only number I'm going to change is this 20. I'm going to make that a 30 instead. So that was 1.00916666, and I'm going to put that to the 360th power because the 20 times 12, it's now 30 times 12. So that's 26, and we take that times 45,000, and it ends up being 1,201,000. So by going 30 years, you spent over $1 million in your home. Again, just by switching this 10 years later, because that you didn't pay it off, so they're charging you an extra charge every month. And this is the number that's killing us. It's the number of years, obviously, but it's also the interest rate's way too high. Again, interest rates change. Right now, it's almost zero. So it's like you're not paying any extra money to take out that loan. So you'd be paying $45,000. That's why interest rates are a huge part of this. You want to go with a really low interest rate. I know they have interest rates on cars right now that are 0% because they're just trying to help out automakers. So this is the time to buy something, no joke. All right, let's go to the last one here. So this has two parts. We have to figure out, the total amount that we're paying for this mortgage over, 30 years. We have a better interest rate. Finally, we have a 4.5% interest rate. But we're still going for 30 years. That's going to hurt us. This number's going to hurt us. But now we're going to figure out the monthly payments you'd make. So this will be more practical. It's not just the total you're going to pay over, 30 years, but it's going to be what you pay per month. And this is what the bank would ask you to pay for 30 years, every month for 30 years. So $105,000, that's a pretty expensive home. Well, I consider it is. $105,000. We're going to plug that number in. My interest rate is 0.045. That is moving the decimal over 2 spots, and we're going to divide that by 12. 12 is the number of compounds, and we're going for 30 years. So, and this will give me my total amount that I'm going to pay for this home. Again, it shouldn't be too bad. It's still we're going 30 years, so that's going to really kind of hurt us. But 0.045, that's moving the decimal over 2 spots. I'm going to divide by 12. I'm going to add that to the 1 automatically. So this is 00375. There we go. And then 12 times 30 is 360th power. Now I'm going to take that 1.00375. I'm going to put that to the 360th power. So I'm getting 3.847698, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to take that times 105,000. And so if I take that times $105,000, I'm paying a total of $404,000 for this home over 30 years. That's significantly better than a $1 million home. And you're thinking, Ward, you did a $45,000 home last time. And it was astronomically high. I mean, if I went 30 years, it was in the millions. It's because the interest rate was killing us. Lower interest rates are better. So if your credit is really tough, you're going to get bad interest rates, and don't take those loans. Maybe you want to rent for a little while, save up some more money, and make a lower down payment. Work on the bills that you're missing payments on, so you can get your credit score back up. But again, look at this. This is a $105,000 home. It was almost double of the last one, and we're saving significantly more money. Now, this is the total we're paying over 30 years. So what we have to do is figure out the monthly payments. To figure out monthly payments, obviously you have to divide by how many years we took out my loan for. So I divide by 30 years. That will be what you're paying per year. And then divide by 12, and this is the price you're paying per month. So $404,008.30, let's say. So $404,008.30. We're going to divide this by 30. And then divide that by 12, so 12 months a year, and we're paying $1,122.24 per month. That's what we're paying. Again, maybe that's out of your price range. Maybe that's not a number that you're willing to do. So maybe you want to cut down, how much you're doing for that mortgage. That mortgage is pretty high. Maybe you want to cut that down. Maybe you can save up a little bit and put a bigger down payment. Maybe you want to go less years. Now, if you go less years, the monthly payment has to go up because you have to pay off that home. So the thing that's going to help you is obviously lower the interest rate, but get that mortgage down. Don't take out such a big loan. To me, $1,000 a month, that's a lot. If you're working, you're working a 9-to-5 job, on minimum wage, you won't be able to make that payment and have money left to pay insurance and utilities and car and travel and food. So think about that. That's something that's part of the budget when you have to plan out your monthly payments. But again, hopefully this is making sense to you. Hopefully this is something that you'll actually use at some point in your life. I'm going to submit a Google form to you that you can try out some of these problems. Unfortunately, I won't have any answers in the Google form, so you'll have to wait till later in the week when I share out some of the answers. But I do want you to try it. Again, these are not graded. It's just an opportunity for you to, continue your education. Hopefully you're staying healthy. Hopefully your family's healthy, and take care of yourself, and I'll hopefully see you later.